Welcome to the Achieve It podcast, hosted by marketing coach, journalist, technologist, and Speaker Hall of Fame member Terry Brock. Get ready to discover new and interesting ways to reach and connect with customers as Terry and his guests dive into the world of technology, marketing, relationship building, productivity, and other ideas that will help you achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. And now, here's your host, a fun and smart guy with a really good haircut, Terry Brock.
The business of professional speaking is amazing. There's so much you can do with it. It's a great opportunity to get your message out to the world, but it's more to it than just saying, I'm going to stand up and speak. There's a business behind it, and you've got to look at how you do it in professional speaking. And speaking of do it, there's a book out on that called Do It Speaking, and we have the honor today of having the author of that book, my buddy and friend, colleague, David Newman, who's joining us now from his offices there in the Philadelphia area. David, good to have you with us today, sir.
Hey, Terry, thank you. Great to be here.
Hey, I really love your book. Now, you've written the book before, Do It Marketing. It is sensational. And this one, my friend, you cranked it up another notch. Incredibly brilliant for those of us who are professional speakers. Tell us a little bit, just kind of from the 40,000-foot point of view, what the book is about and what Do It Speaking is.
Sure. Well, and I also want to clarify, because thank you for mentioning my first book, which is called Do It Marketing. What I realized over the last 6 years since that first book came out is that speaking is actually the ultimate marketing strategy, not just for people like you and me, Terry, who make a living speaking, teaching, training, coaching, consulting, but even for C-level executives, salespeople, professionals who are out there selling their ideas. Speaking is the ultimate marketing strategy. It's the ultimate leadership brand builder, and it's the ultimate one-to-many sales tool. So really the inspiration for this book was not just for speakers, but it's how to borrow plays from the playbook of the professional speaker and to elevate and expertise yourself as an executive or as an entrepreneur or as any sort of thought leading professional.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point on that. And I have to agree with you that it's a great tool for marketing when done the right way. You could be a person and a professional and doing many different activities, and speaking is one of the great ways to do it. Matter of fact, if it's all right with you, Dave, what I want to do is get into the book. I've pulled out some excerpts of it that I want to share. I read your book all the way through, actually read it twice. It's that good. I really enjoyed it, and I want to share with our audience what we have here on that with my fancy schmancy keynote slide presentation here. Do It Speaking, the 77 instant action ideas to market yourself and maximize your expertise. Here's something you said at the beginning of the book that I thought was particularly good. You said public speaking, the original social media, I like that idea, is based on the same principles as today's social media and online content marketing. And the key factors are, and I'll read these four here and have you kind of talk about those and expand on them. Have something worth saying, say it in a powerful, simple and intriguing way. I love that. Deliver your message with consistency, clarity, and passion. That's all important. And then here, the fourth one, change the game. Don't blend in. Stand out when you speak up. You talk about those principles throughout the book. Tell us a little bit more about those and how they relate to speaking.
Sure. Well, and again, think of it in terms of speaking as a marketing strategy and a brand builder and a way to add value to your universe, to your prospect base, to your client base, to your industry. Have something worth saying is about really offering value, offering value, offering not just information, because Terry, you and I both know information is a commodity.
Yes.
What people are really hungry for is they're hungry for insight. They're hungry for your particular slant, your perspective, your opinion, your recommendation. Do this, not that. Go left, don't go right.
Yeah.
What's right with the world? What's wrong with the world? So if you think of crafting a client magnet speech, for example, you have to be for some things and you have to be against some things. So your personal manifesto for you, your company, your brand, your products and services, you have to have something worth saying that people will pay attention to and that will stand out, because the marketplace is so noisy with so many messages, online, offline, digitally, analog, you name it, right? That it really needs to be meaningful and valuable to the audience that you're trying to connect with.
Yeah, I think that's most important. We want to make sure that we do that. And you talk about that extensively in the book as we look at the various examples that you give. I like this also here about specificity in what you said. Where you say, here's a big shift that will instantly increase your prospect's desire for what you do. Specificity. Specific topics beat general topics. And you'll know, by the way, notice how I took that. This was at the end of one page and the beginning of another. So I took them, put them together there. But things like sales success secrets. Hey, that sounds really nice. That's a little pat on the head, but it isn't nearly as good as overcoming the stall, how to shift your prospect out of neutral, or how to become a more effective CFO, isn't nearly as relevant as 7 CFO negotiating strategies for vendor contracts. David, tell us a little bit about the importance of specificity and why that really matters in speaking.
Yeah, well, I think it matters in all marketing because all of our clients, all of our prospects, they all have specific problems. And there's no such thing as a general solution to a specific problem. So folks that deal in kind of higher level generalities, that talk in broad terms, very easy to ignore that type of speech or that type of marketing message in whatever format it might come across your radar. When you stop someone in their tracks by talking about exactly their problem, their pains, heartaches, challenges, gaps, you make them feel that you've installed video cameras in their offices. You make them feel like you've bugged their telephone system because they read it and they say, oh my gosh, Terry Brock knows exactly what's going on here. I saw Terry's LinkedIn profile. I went to Terry's website. Man, I felt like he was talking to me, because you have the exact problems dialed in for the exact right kind of buyer and the exact right kind of solution that they're already looking for and already hungry for. One of the things that I put in the book, Terry, you might remember, is the famous Ray Kroc quote. Ray Kroc being the founder of McDonald's, or popularized as the founder of McDonald's, even though the McDonald brothers were the founders of McDonald's. But anyway, Ray Kroc made it a big national global franchise.
Exactly.
Someone once asked him, Mr. Kroc, what do you think is the secret to your success? And Ray Kroc thinks for a minute and he says, well, I guess the biggest secret to my success is nobody ever walked into one of my restaurants who wasn't already hungry. So what is your target market already hungry for, where you don't need to do a lot of convincing and persuading? You simply show up and you are the answer to their prayers. You are the answer to their dreams because of that specificity of the exact kinds of problems that you're solving.
Yeah, I like that. It reminds me of what an acquaintance of ours who is no longer with us today, but Dan Kennedy talked about in marketing often, that he wanted to be able to have the only restaurant in a place where you've got lots of hungry people and yours is the only one. And I think that's the key. Let me ask you this, though. We want to take it a little bit farther. How do we get to that information without putting actual bugs in their office? And that, what kind of tools have you found that work for you and for the many clients that you've helped with? How do they do that research to find out what their clients really are looking for?
Great question, Terry. And I think, a lot of times people will look at a compelling website or a compelling sales letter or a compelling email, and they will say, wow, that Terry Brock, he's such a brilliant copywriter. And maybe you are, Terry, maybe you aren't, but I'll tell you what you're much better at. You're a brilliant copy listener. So what we need to do is we need to replay in our minds all of the dozens, or in some cases hundreds and hundreds of sales conversations that we've had, or do some online research, go straight to the source. So figuring out what's being talked about in the media, where are the blogs, portals, and communities where your target market is already discussing these kinds of problems, and go on a listening campaign. So if you're already seasoned and experienced in whatever business that you're in, you have the ability of re-listening in your mind all those sales conversations about what was missing, funky, broken, sad, what were they complaining about, what were their symptoms, what were their challenges. But even if you have no experience and you're just starting out, doing a listening campaign online, looking at blogs, looking at blog comments, looking at YouTube clips, looking at the conversation that's already taking place in the market around your topic and around your problems and around the solutions that other people are trying to provide, that is huge, huge insight into what most buyers' mental dialogue is already running that track on.
Yeah, words of wisdom. We're talking with David Newman. He's the author of the recently released book, Do It Speaking, which relates to a way to market what you're doing for professionals, a way to connect with people, and he's done a splendid job with it. And get a chance to share some ideas from that book. Matter of fact, we'll go back here and want to take a look at some other topics that he talked about in there as we look at what to do being specific. But I love this one. David, this is just so ideal. You have talked about this concept before many times, but it's something that is vital for us today to know about. Dollarize the problem. Finally, you need to articulate I like the way this is italicized, financial value that you can deliver, called dollarizing, to show your prospects and clients the true cost of their problem and the true value of solving it faster, better, or smarter than they're doing right now. David, this is just brilliant. And if that is something that those watching this video only gain, just that one thing, that's going to be enormously beneficial, and it gives a lot of capabilities for us. Talk to us a little bit more about that, of what we need to do and how we can go about dollarizing the problem.
Sure. Well, and remember, you can dollarize almost any problem, product, brand, service, value proposition, but let's just say that it's fairly squishy. Let's say that we're doing a leadership program for a group of 20 executives. What you could start with is you could start by asking your decision maker, so about how many folks are coming to this program? And they would tell you, well, we're thinking about sending maybe 20 people to this leadership program. And then you would say, well, what's the salary level of these people? And I always like to lowball it, Terry. I always say, so are these like your $50,000 leaders? I go, no. They make at least $100,000 or $120,000. These are our mid-level managers. These are, the people that are high potential, about to be promoted into the executive level. So then I would stop and I would say, so what you're telling me is about 20 people, $100,000 a year of salary for each of them. So you're looking to move the needle on about $2 million of payroll expense. And the person would then pause and go, yeah, I guess that's right. I've never thought about it that way. So now we have a $2 million value proposition on the table. And let's say that we say, so let me ask you, if we were to make these people just 10% more effective, better at retaining talent, better at recruiting talent, better at doing their job, higher performance, just 10%. And you should know that we generally do at least 20, 30, 40%, but I'm being super conservative here. If we just did a 10% improvement on that $2 million of payroll expense, that would be $200,000 that would just drop right to your bottom line. Is that right? And they're doing the math, $2 million, 10%, 200,000. Yes. So now whatever it is that you're selling, and I know, Terry, that your speaking fees is slightly less than $200,000.
Just a little bit, just a hair less than that.
My speaking fee is a lot less than $200,000. So whatever number comes out of our mouth next seems like a bargain, right? Hey, you give me X, I give you 10X. You give me Y, I give you 5Y. It's literally like showing them a money machine with $1 of money in, right? Virtual money, money equivalent, time, money, salary, expense, waste, cost, all of those kinds of things. One in, how many out? Is it a 3X return, 5X return, 10X return? This is a great way, no matter what product or service you're selling, to dollarize and show people how they're going to make that investment back, how long it might take to make that investment back, and what a fantastic deal they're getting when they buy from you.
I love it. That is something that's applicable and it's tangible. We now say, yes, that's going to happen, because often people will say, well, we don't know what it's going to be, but there's a way you can dollarize it. Just find the people that are there. Look at what's there. And what is it going to cost for the meeting itself? You didn't even mention that, but of course, that's a big factor too. You're paying X dollars for the hotel. You're getting everyone there. Probably you're going to spend around Y dollars to get everyone there. When you start looking at all the money that's there, then you say, well, to move the needle for you, we're only going to charge a small fraction of that. It's an investment that you'll have, because we'll be able to deliver, as you talk about in the book, a speech. Yes, that's one of the tools, but we also have many other tools that we could offer them to say, well, in addition to that, we're also going to provide this ebook, or we're going to provide these webinars, or we're going to provide this coaching, or et cetera, et cetera. There's a host of things we can do that all start from speaking, as we are as communicators who solve problems. So I like to say that's really CSP. You know, we're communicators who solve problems and do that very well. Well, let's go back over here to the book as we look at it, because there's, again, just so much really good information in there. I love the way that you said this here. Now, this is really important. You made a distinction between the difference of an audience and a market. If you have an audience, then you have people who are willing to sit on their hands and listen for either no money or little money, and they're playing on their smartphones while you're talking. That's not a market. That's why a lot of speakers are scratching their heads thinking, what's the problem? These people love me. Well, the bad news, the wrong people love you. People with no money love you. The broke people love you. And I love your tweet here. By the way, notice those of you watching this at D Newman, you send a tweet out mentioning David on this. You don't want broke people to love you. You want check writing entities to love you. Tell us a little bit more about that and what's behind that whole philosophy that I think is really nothing short of brilliant.
Yeah, well, I think this is a very, very common problem when you talk to any executive or any entrepreneur that says, oh, I've been speaking for years. I go to this group, I go to that group, I go to this trade association, I go to this big conference, and I haven't gotten anything out of it. That's the big complaint, right? Well, you got to figure who's in the audience. Are you in the right room with the right people who are there for the right reason? Or are you talking to the completely wrong kind of audience? And later in the book, Terry, I talk about, imagine if we had the world's greatest dog food. Mm-hmm. And this dog food is so delicious and so tasty, and all the puppies and all the dogs come up and they're eating it and they're loving it. If we tried to sell the dog food to the dog, we would not have much success because dogs don't have wallets or credit cards or even pants. Right. Who do we sell dog food to? We sell the dog food to the dog owner. So that's what I mean, that the dog owners in this analogy, those are your economic buyers. They might put you in front of an audience who loves you and is clapping and is drooling and is wagging their tails, but they can't hire you. They can't buy from you. So our job is to find the economic buyers, AKA dog owners, make them happy, show them the value prop, show them the return on investment. And those are the people that we cultivate as our clients. So if you've already tried a speaking strategy, I've talked to a lot of executives and a lot of, accounting firms and chiropractors and all kinds of people. Oh, I'm out in the community. I'm speaking all the time, but it's just not working. You're probably in front of the wrong groups for the wrong reason that are filled with the wrong kinds of people that are simply not your people. And if you re-look at your strategy, you can then find your way into the right rooms with the right people, where we call that a prospect-rich environment. And whether you're doing speaking to generate leads or speaking to generate revenue or both, that is a much better room to be in because that's a room filled with buyers.
A lot of wisdom in that. A lot of ideas that you have in that book can help people to make a lot of money. Well, Dave, we're not going to let you get away without you letting us know how we can get in touch with you. I understand you've got some other goodies that are available for people. That I love the way you practice this. You give lots and lots of value over and over, and then people find, well, there's other ways they can get involved with you financially. Sure, and you get a lot of value. How can someone reach out and get some more information about this book and the whole concept of Do It Speaking?
Totally fantastic. So 2 resources that I'd love to share with folks. Number 1 are all the companion tools, downloads, and bonuses that come with the book. And that's on our website at doitmarketing.com/speak. And then we also have some free web training for folks that want to take this a little bit further. And that is, again, on our website at doitmarketing.com/webinar.
So remember the /speak, will just speak by itself, yeah. And /webinar, upper or lowercase, doesn't matter on that?
Doesn't matter.
All right, very good. Well, David Newman, you have done a marvelous job with this book. Like I said, I read your book twice. Really good. Highlighting it, cleaning it. There's so much in there. I really wanted this interview to go for about 20 to 22 hours, but that doesn't go real well on the net. So those of you watching this, I'm encouraging you to treat yourself, to get this book, read it, look at what's available. If you need to interact with people, this book is packed full of wonderful gems, and I am delighted to be able to share that with you. David Newman, thank you so much for writing the book, and thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Terry, thank you, and see you next time.
You bet. And for those of you watching this is really important to know. You can use this information in many different ways. Yes, as a professional speaker, but also if you connect with people, this is something you'll pick up some gems on. And for the few coins it'll take to buy the book, you're going to really enjoy it. I'm Terry Brock, and thank you for joining us today.